Brenton, can we get the headline act out of the way first? What do you reckon score review now?
I don't like it. Yeah, I don't know. It was free kicks and stuff went our way, obviously, but there was a couple of critical ones that didn't go our way, unfortunately. But that's footy, and yeah, the score review was an unusual one. I can't. Did the goal umpire call it a goal?
Yeah, boundary umpire
said it hit the post. Okay. Yeah, you think the goal umpire would have been in the correct position to make that decision, but listen, it's been we've had a couple of things haven't gone our way this year, but what were you lose by 7 points? Tight game. A few things didn't go our way, but there were some other issues we'll have to fix up as well. You know, we won most of the stats, but didn't win on the scoreboard, unfortunately.
Did you see it, Rory? Were you in a position to see it?
No, I was on the bench at the time.
Brenton, the inside 50s, you won that easily, but couldn't get it on the scoreboard. What do you think went wrong there? Was it delivery?
Yeah, a little bit of that. Yeah, I mean, it was a wet, heavy day. We've really chopped the ground up. It was a really heavy track, and we had more shots for goal, didn't convert. But that's Fremantle's style too. You know, they're actually okay with rolling numbers behind the ball, and most of the day we were -1, -2 in our forward 50, but that's Fremantle's style, which we accept, and we prepared for that. And they forced us wide. Our shots weren't. It looked like they got goals that were easier. We had to really fight for everything, you know. But yeah, we missed some set shots we should have kicked as well. We didn't probably look as poised in front of goals as what they did.
When you say -1, -2 in forward 50, how did you measure up whether to stay that way or deal with Duffield and Johnson?
Yeah, it's a good debate. They're the two we didn't want +1. So we instructed our forwards to keep rolling around to make sure that it wasn't, you know, we would have preferred like a Spur or a Dawson as their extra number. But if Fremantle have been doing it for the last couple of seasons, obviously the way that they structure up, they ideally want Duffield, Johnson, those sort of guys to be their number back. We kept trying to round them up with our forwards. We were okay with them being +1 back there, but we tried to lock the ball in our front half, and you know, most of the stats went away, as I said, but as we just couldn't convert when it mattered.
Rory, how tough was it out there as a player?
It was slippery, but I suppose it makes it a bit more predictable. The ball slides on and slides in straight lines, so for me it's sort of bit easier to read. The game's a bit more simple, but yeah, legs will certainly feel heavy tomorrow.
Rory, the advantages that Jacob was giving you for first look, is there a reason why Fremantle nullified that?
I'm not sure. I know they like to get inside us. They've got a few big bodies. I'm not sure if that was. I'm not sure of the numbers even, but we knew their big bodies like Mundy, Barlow were always going to try and get in front of us. So it was something we also prepared for. But yeah, at times it's tough to fight for position against those guys.
What sort of happened in the second quarter for them to get momentum? I mean, in the context of the game, that was quite.
Yeah, they got on top with their method around the ball. You know, we kicked 1 goal, they kicked 4 goals, 3. It was a really even game for 3 quarters. I know we won 3 out of the 4 quarters, but to lose the second quarter by 21 points, as Michelangelo said, you know, Jacobs was incredible today in the ruck. You know, he had 50 hit-outs. He gave his first look. We still won clearances, I think, but maybe marginally it was either way, I'm not sure. But yeah, it was a pity we couldn't get on top with the dominance that he had in the ruck today. We'll have to go back and review it. We'll look at our setups inside and outside the contest, but in that second quarter, they were certainly better around the footy. You know, we were handballing it backwards when we should have been surging it forwards, and their pressure was sort of frontal pressure, which at times we couldn't handle. You know, we looked fumbly. We went to ground. You know, a number 1 point before the game today was keep your feet, keep your feet, keep your feet. And under pressure, we fell over, went to ground too easy. Experienced players, not just our kids, our older boys, still fell over and took the easy option of going to ground, which is unacceptable in wet weather.
But this game's all about measuring one team against another.
Yep.
If we suggest that Fremantle's now people a genuine top 4 contender, how do you measure up?
Oh, we weren't far off it today. You know, you know, the score review hurt the momentum. They scored those 2 goals in 2 minutes. You know, when we hit the front with Dangerfield's miracle goal, you know, when he kicked it pretty much when he was laying down, that put us in front. Still 10 minutes to go. Felt like we were coming a bit again, but then those 2 goals that they kicked, you know, the Talia free kick against, when Laird takes that great mark with courage and the umpire pays a free kick against Talia. Those couple of things just sort of... I was probably there, yeah, but they're the momentum swings which we didn't want. You know, we get in front, they win the next centre bounce, score a goal. Then we're sort of coming a little bit, and Tails gives away a free kick, which, you know, we just sort of gifted them momentum at times, which we shouldn't have.
Not dwelling on the goal review, but do you think you should just call it within? If you think there's an unsure, just call it rather than wait 3 minutes before you decide to go up there?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I was looking at the review too. I couldn't pick it. I was trying to focus on how we could get the next centre bounce, and I didn't want to. I just knew that they'd make a call at some point. But yeah, it was either here or there. It's not the reason we lost the game, but I know they're working hard to ensure that they're getting their system as clear as they can. But it's a tricky one.
Just the momentum though, because
yeah.
They actually didn't call for it for about 3 minutes.
Yeah, I know our players were jogging back to the centre bounce. I know the Fremantle players that were challenging it though, so perhaps it did hit the post, I'm not sure, but I thought the goal umpire was in a pretty good...
We're kidding ourselves if we don't put goal line cameras, but we're ever going to get that right.
Yeah, that or probably 2 goal umpires, I think, each end. I think that's probably the general consensus across the industry is let's get 2 goal umpires each end, and they can both look up and down the post when the ball's going through. So the AFL might look to perhaps trial that over the next pre-season, I think.
What do you think of Lee Matthews' idea that if it hits the post and the ball goes through to the goal, between the goal posts?
Yeah, I don't mind it, but the rest of the coaches didn't like it. And but yeah, I don't know. It's a big change to the rules. But yeah, if it goes through, it goes through. Whether it hits the post or not, I don't mind that one. I'm pretty happy with that. But the rest of our coaching department don't like it.
You said you reviewed last week's win 50-50. Was there more today that you liked or disliked?
It was a hard game. It was a slog. Both teams just fought it out. There's not much we can sort of review from this week. Probably our just setups and structures inside and outside, our method. But if you ask the players, it was just a slog, you know, both way. There was no clear possessions at times. It was just win the ball, surge it forward, a game of yardage, try and get the ball in your half and lock it away. So it wouldn't have been pretty for the fans. Would have been an ugly game on TV to watch, I'm sure, but would have been nice if we could have pinched that one, you know. Would have been a lot better to get, you know, we're 5-5 now, we're back in the pack a bit. Would have been nice to be 6-4 instead. Would have been a lot better.
So given you lost, there's nothing you can take out of it?
There's a lot of things we can still take out of it. We still had a lot of guys down on form. A lot of guys looked like they were plodding through the heavy conditions. Other guys like Sloane, you know, just ran on top of the ground. We still had some good players today. We still had some good contributors. There was a lot to like about the game, but still, yeah, we'll have to go back and look at the tape and look at ways we can get better.
Do you feel like you're built for this sort of footy?
I was just saying to Sando before the game, this is probably 1 day a week. I don't mind wet conditions. But look, I love dry weather as well, but I think growing up in wet sort of stuff probably, yeah, it sort of brings me back to playing at home.
Rory, in terms of comparing last week to what happened today, what was the difference in that spirit of Adelaide to will a win last week that not quite get there this week?
Oh, the spirit was definitely there. The calls were very similar. We knew we didn't have much time in the last quarter. It was take the game on, and we had a couple of shots at goal. So last week they went in. This week they didn't.
You played a lot better than you did last week, but didn't get a result this time?
Yeah, as Sando said, it's hard to judge. One's an indoor game, one's an outdoor game in the wet. Yeah, for 3 quarters I thought we played very good wet weather footy, and unfortunately that second quarter really hurt us.
What do you think happened in that second quarter?
We definitely got smacked in the midfield. Yeah, I think they're harder bodies. They definitely got inside us in that second quarter, and we had to adjust that after half time.
You remember how you said this was going to be a very crucial month. Where does it sit now at 5-5?
Well, the next 2 games are going to be even more important now.
Just on those next 2, Brenton, from your perspective, how vital are they in the context of the year?
Yeah, we won't look any further ahead than Sydney. You know, last year's premiers. It's funny, I know Freo, because we beat them 3 times last year, they were coming here to hunt us, you know, and now Sydney came here last year and beat us in a final. But it becomes critical, you know, they're obviously playing against the Bombers now. We'll get back and watch the replay as soon as we can. We'll review our match today and look for ways that we can get better. But, yeah, Sydney next week's critical game for us. I know, you know, we're 2 wins out of 6 games here this year now. We're 3 and 4 on the road. So we've got to start winning our home games. They're really important for us. So Sydney's a big one. It's really important for us to get back on the horse this week and try and get a win there.
Well, can you give us an insight as Sam Jacobs being sub last week was hurt his pride, not to mention what he wanted to do in that game, and then he produces one like this. What spurred him on during the week?
I think, as most players, anyone who gets subbed or dropped for a week, sort of fire burns in the belly a bit. So, yeah, it was really, I think the guys really put it on Sauce this week to step up, because Shorty Mac's been playing some very good footy, and he was stiff to miss out today, but he understands, and Sean will play a pivotal role for us the rest of the year.
Is McKay hurt, Brenton? He seemed to come off early, but came back and then stopped.
Yeah, he got a really nasty hip pointer, which is a heavy collision on the hip bone. He had a couple of injections to try and get rid of the pain during the match, but he just couldn't go in the third quarter. So full credit to him. He gave it everything he could for us, just didn't quite have the power. So so that was why the sub was made for him. He should be right for next week, though. I don't think it'll be an injury that'll keep him out of next week.
What do you think that is, Rory, about the home record this year?
I'm not sure, really. I can't put it on to anything. Yeah, good question, Richie.
Good question, Richie.
Yeah. Oh, well, I've got no idea, mate. We obviously that Essendon one was, yeah, it was a tough loss at the start, but yeah, it was today was different. Well, we don't go into games thinking we're 2 and 3 at home. We go into every game, home or away, with the same mindset.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.